Hi and welcome. This is the Friday interactive session from Innkeepers Ministry. For those of you that are members of our church, Innkeepers, thank you so much for joining us. If you are one of our friends out there, thank you so much for joining us. Do us a favor, please do share right now this page or this session as you watch, so that somebody else who's connected to your address online can be able to connect with this blessing. We're going to be talking about some very key special things here, and I believe that our lives are going to be changed. Every once in a while in the history of the church, something major happens that causes a shift to unfold before the church. And as these things have happened over the years and the centuries, you know, whenever something like what we're experiencing now happens, we come to a point in our lives and we say, maybe it is the end of the world. Now, many generations have said that, and they have been wrong. One of the generations very soon would be right, and it could be ours. Whatever the case, we don't know whether this is the end or not, but we know that COVID-19 is here with us, and we have to find a way to make do with it. And there are lessons to draw from it. So in this session, last week we were blessed to have Dr. Stephen Murady with us. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you.
And also your dear wife, Alice Murady. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, we looked at some very special things in the last program as we discussed, looking at the lessons that we are able to draw from this experience of COVID-19, looking at the ability to earn or generate income during this difficult time, looking at how you can prioritize your expenditures. You know, there are things that don't go away, expenses that don't go away, even if you have a crisis, like healthcare, food, communication, education. Those things carry on as we go on. And in the end, I think looking at the whole concept of savings. And so today we're going to go deeper into the practicalities of saving. And I think even before we unpack this, how has been your experience, your journey with this whole concept of saving? When did you pick that up, like say, okay, I think I need to focus on this?
Thank you so much, Bramwell. And yeah, it's true. When it comes to saving, there must be, one must come to such a point that makes a turnaround. Mm-hmm. Because if there is no conscious decision that one can make that I want to save and I want to achieve this vision, then life lands just on auto mode.
Yes.
And there is a saying that says, if you aim at nothing, you will still achieve it. So saving is driven by vision. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, God gave us that grace back somewhat, like 2011, around there, 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm. And there are some decisions that we made mm-hmm. that turned around our lives, financial lives. And today we can see that some things that we set out to achieve and wrote them down, we are living them now. So there has to be that point that comes that one can make a turnaround. And maybe this is something that people can be taught and hear about saving, investing, but it remains like hypothetical.
Yes.
But if one gets the gist of this, like an awakening during this COVID time, mm-hmm. that would be very good.
Yes.
That post-COVID, things can be done differently in one's life.
Wonderful. Now, Alice, Daktari has talked about coming to that moment where you make a conscious decision that from now on, I would like to go on this path of saving. Maybe tell us a little bit, how was that handled for you as a couple? How did that discussion go? Is that something that was easy? You were both ready for it? How was it?
Yeah, thank you, Romeo. It was a process. We started by first asking ourselves many questions and setting ourselves on a vision, understanding what we really want in life and for our family. Then from there, we started to read a lot and research and just familiarize ourselves with what do people do to get things that they get or to get wealth. What happens? How come some people achieve some things where others don't? And in answering those questions, we read a lot and we shared all the materials we were reading. And we started now putting together our own thing, our own vision, what we wanted, the things we wanted to happen in our family. And we started praying about it. We didn't even have much income to save. So it meant we had to do so much sacrifice in terms of where we lived, food we ate, clothes we wore, things we bought. We had to do with so many things, without so many things, so that we can put aside what we wanted to put aside. And we also wanted to learn how to grow what we have put aside, so that it's not just our savings, but we are able to also make our savings come with interest or grow, get bigger, so that our dream can be achieved, or our vision, we can achieve it faster. So with time, we started realizing one goal after another, because we had set more goals to the bigger picture, to the bigger vision, and they were coming one by one. And every time one would come, we would celebrate. And even today, we still have things we have not achieved. We are still on this journey. I think it's a lifelong journey. There are still things we are aiming at. There are still things we are looking to achieve. And there are still things we want to see happen. But the habit and the formula that we have, let me call it formula, that we had established still stands and still works for us. So we know what to do with whatever we want to achieve.
So I think one of the things that comes out clearly from both of you is that you have to have a clear vision of why you are saving. That's right. Because it's one thing to put money aside and keep it in the bank. There are people who do that. They don't follow it up to see, is it growing? They don't follow it up to say, is it accomplishing the things I wanted to accomplish? It's not just saving to have money aside. So talk to us a little bit about this habit, the discipline to actually go into the practice of saving.
Right. And my wife has brought it out very well, that it's this vision that drives us. It's this vision, literally, even if you see corporates and institutions, they have a vision. Even the church, you can see the vision is clear. And a vision is something that is unattainable. You cannot say that today I attained my vision, because it is always something you are striving at. So this vision, even personal financial vision or a family's financial vision, should have a long-term perspective. That is, there are things that you want to accomplish, but as Alice have said, you have to break them down into smaller goals. And those smaller goals, you break them down into milestones. So, for example, the previous session, we say that owning a home, it's a very important thing, and that can be shown like at a time like now, where people income has been affected, and even money to pay rent might not be there. So, but how do you own a home? Then a vision can be, we want to cease being tenants, but you need to buy maybe land first,
Yes.
a piece of land, maybe that's a goal. Then you need maybe to construct a house, or another person may say, I don't want this business of construction. I'll buy a built-up house. Maybe I want to buy it off-plan.
Yes.
You know, when you have that clear vision of what you want, that is what will drive you. And then you come back and break it
Yes.
into maybe halfway, quarter way. How will you achieve that?
Yeah.
So, and for a family, when people talk together and discuss, and this is a very good, important time to discuss
Yes.
and talk through things,
Yes.
because both of you are there, then people need to be transparent, you know, owning the vision together, transparent, so that one person is not pulling this way
Yes.
and the other one that way. Because you remember the Bible says that the two has, you know, the labor of two have a better reward. That's a cumulative effect,
Yes.
or a multiplier effect.
Yes.
When two work together, you achieve your dream or the goal faster.
Yes.
Then there is the issue of habit.
Yes.
Because, and here we would like to say that the amount is not important.
Yeah.
The amount is not, the habit is more important than the amount. Because if, for example, there is someone working maybe like as a house help, and your salary is maybe 7, 8, 10,000, they will be able to save, if they say, I'll save 10% of my salary. So when you save 1,000, at the end of the year, you see that you have 12,000 aside. We call that the 13th month salary.
Yeah.
Many people do not have the 13th month salary. There are only a few employers who give a bonus when you attain your targets.
Yes.
But you can give yourself 13th month salary by saving 10% of your income. So you can automate these savings. For example, telling your bank that you know, set aside 10%. When my salary lands in the bank, you set aside. But nowadays, even someone who earns a wage, when the money lands to your phone or in your hands, you set aside 10% and send it.
Yes.
So that helps you. The other way that one can get help in developing this habit is going the project way. I remember there is a time in the past we have bought a piece of real estate by paying maybe a deposit of 50% or 30%, and then the rest we negotiate and we tell the seller we want to pay monthly. If it is possible to do it that way, then you see that will drive you.
Yes,
because
you have a bill to pay.
It's a habit. Yeah, that habit is very good for people to struggle to make that habit of constant saving, and then investing.
Wow. Very deep things to think about here. I hope you are drawing as many lessons as you can from this interaction. Thank you for those that are sending messages and comments, and may you continue to do that. Share this clip this session with your friends on your social media platform. We would like as many people as possible to be able to reach this blessing. Talking about that discipline, there's the 10% that you can automate from your regular income, either from a business that Daktari has referred to, or even from your salary, if you have a job. But then there's other monies that float around the family, and other resources that float around the family. How do you work with that?
Yeah, when we talk about family, of course you're talking about husband and wife.
Yes.
It's very key that the vision is shared and synchronized, so that both of you are contributing to the vision. Because I know it is true that, as you said, labor of two. The women, me speaking to the women, we too have a role to play in this, and our contributions or contributions we can do
Yeah.
to the vision.
Mhm.
It's not only for the men, or
Yeah.
it's not only for the breadwinner, as
Yeah.
we know, as we say. It's something we can both contribute,
Yeah.
whether in kind or in cash,
Yes.
because there are things we can do even at home to save. Because a home is a consumption, it's the first consumption unit there
Yes.
is in economy. And the best thing to do is to make your home not a net consumption unit, but a net productive unit.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, in the macroeconomy or the economy of a country, we know something called balance of trade,
Uh-huh.
where a country, it's a measure of what you sell against what you buy.
What you buy, yeah.
And for many African countries, as we know, we are always on the negative. We
Yes,
import
yeah.
more
Than we
export.
sell, yeah.
That means we produce less than other people produce for us.
Yes.
So we are net on the negative.
Yes.
So the same concept can apply in a home,
Yes.
whereby you make your home a production unit, whereby it's not just consumption that happens in your home.
You make things.
There's production.
Yeah.
So that you reduce that balance, and that way you increase your capacity to save. Whether it's the income that you earn from business or from employment, when you make your home less of a consumption unit, then you're able to save more.
Yeah. Wow.
Because it's not only 10%. I think we need to be clear here. 10% is the basic you can do.
Yeah.
But if you really want to achieve your dream, sometimes and your vision, sometimes it may require you to go an extra mile, save more.
Yeah.
And how do you save more? You have to think of ways and means to raise the savings right from the home.
Yeah.
So you can produce things instead of buying finished products, buy raw materials and make products at home so that you don't have to spend too much money buying things. I mean, for example, instead of buying yogurt for your children, buy milk and make the yogurt.
Yes.
You save, because yogurt is usually double the price of milk. Instead of buying vegetables, grow them in your home. There are even possibilities of producing energy at home. Yeah, there are countries whereby people sell electricity to the electricity companies right from their home, because they have solar panels. They
Yes.
have made their home a production. It's like a factory. You're living in a factory, and it's possible.
I think there's a whole change of mindset
Yes.
that someone has to develop here.
Yes.
To ask yourself, what is it I can create at home to help me save more? What are some other ways I can meet needs like energy and those kinds of things so that I can save more? I find even in this country, we have regulations when you're building a house to set up a solar-powered water heating system.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we find that many people do it to meet the regulation, but they don't use the system. They don't use the system. They're not conscious. There is a way of saving the expenditure. So it is there, but then we bypass it and we still set up our Kenya Power direct instant shower. Wow, very inspirational things here to think about. Are there other things that we can develop in terms of adding value to what's already there at home so that we can minimize our ongoing expenditure?
If I can add to what Alice have mentioned, for example, even speaking practically,
Yeah.
because I know for her, she makes bread at home, bakes bread. We don't buy commercial bread. She buys milk and makes cheese from home. So we supplement that. We take away margarine. We don't buy margarine. She makes yogurt, so we take
Wow.
homemade yogurt.
Wow.
And she makes peanut butter and also butter and buttermilk. So all those things, and jam also. We grow beetroot, and if you give kids beetroot, they don't like to eat, but if you give them jam of beetroot, they like it. So what the point is, how can your home be in the production side of the equation,
Yes.
so that you are not buying everything. You know, when you go to the supermarket, you buy everything, and sometimes you realize some of these things, then you just need to buy raw materials and finish the product yourself.
Yeah.
And in fact, then it will be more healthier, because it is more authentic. You know, maybe where the raw material came from, and that would be good.
Yeah.
And the other point I would like to say is, and this has to come in as if it is a family, they have to be conscious about this, is to simplifying your life. Because it's if you want to save, and we have said 10% is the minimum, the minimum that you should save. So someone who is not saving even that 10% is doing so badly.
Yeah.
But one can even make it 30, 40, depending on their ability.
Yeah.
But for you to achieve that, so that you can reach your goals faster, then simplification is important.
Yeah.
And how do you simplify? One thing that you can save on clearly is rent.
Yes.
Because you can live in a 3-bedroom house in Luaka and take the same 3-bedroom house and bring it here in Loresho.
And pay a different price.
It will be different.
Yes.
Or somewhere else. So one has to be able to humble themselves and simplify, knowing that I'm not doing this forever.
Forever.
It is for a time, so that I achieve my goals and I move on
to my vision.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is something very important. And then being conscious of everything, because our thought drives action.
Yes.
So even when you are doing purchases, then you will be thoughtful.
Yes.
Maybe, okay, when you go for more nutritious things, things that are more organic, they are more expensive.
Yes.
So if one can be able to grow food even in a windowsill or a balcony, like what we mentioned last week, then it is possible. It is good to think about that. How can one achieve that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think over and beyond the discipline to save and to cut costs and all of this, the way to grow that saving is investment. So maybe talk to us about that. How has been that for you, and how do we do that? Where do we start?
When we consider investments, we say one would be losing money, like what you mentioned, if one just stacks money in the bank account.
Yes.
That saving, it stays in the bank account, and one will be feeling good that
there's money. Your balance sheet is
the bank balance is
yeah.
going up. But in essence, the inflation is always ahead of those interests that bank can give.
Yes.
And nowadays in the new banking act,
Yes.
there is no even interest. It's very little.
Very little.
Unless you lock your amount.
Yes.
That's when you get the 7%.
Yeah, which is still
if you have not locked your that amount that bank can use, then it will be very little.
Yeah.
So it calls for conscious decision. One, investing in seeking knowledge and seeking, where can my money work safely, so that you don't endanger the principal.
Yes.
So you don't go for the get rich quick schemes or returns anywhere that is promising, out of this world returns, but you know that there is money market. I can give banks or institutions like institutions that are trading in money market my money, and they'll give me 9%.
Yes.
If I'm okay with 9%, it's okay, because I know my principal will be secure.
Yes.
Then one can say, okay, I can invest in stocks and private equity. Private equity, we call it venture capital, where you buy shares of companies that are not listed
Yes.
in Nairobi Stocks Exchange
Yes.
or any other exchange. So that as they grow, you are growing with them. And also some circles, I can mention like Unitas and
Yes.
such. Circles that you know they are doing genuine business. Like
You
now
can
you can see the people moving in and out of such a circle like Unitas,
Yes.
and they are a microfinance,
Yes.
you know, they are doing microfinance work, business. So I can say I can put some shares there. When this circle is listed in the Nairobi Stocks Exchange or is given a go-ahead to become a bank, then your private equity shares will gain value.
Yes.
And there are so many opportunities there.
Yeah.
Then there are stocks. We mentioned last week, like this COVID crisis has discounted, it has resorted into discount.
Yes.
So understand the fundamentals of the company where you want to invest in.
Yeah.
So there is somebody who say, okay, I like cement, you know, I am in maybe building industry. You can buy Babuli cement or, you know, and then say, after this COVID, maybe the construction industry will slam back and the shares will come back.
Yeah.
Or the banking sector. And ultimately, the one can also invest in commodities.
Yes.
Oil now has gone down. You see, crisis can also affect your investment.
Yeah.
So, but also gold have been affected. But it's an opportunity now to invest in those commodities. But the ultimate investment is where you solidify your investment. So your asset, you buy a solid asset, and that is real estate.
Yes.
So you can say, you buy a piece of land, you buy a farm, or you buy a house, you know, because everything, look, we said is a vision. So it's a goal. You are always moving towards a vision. So one can start with the most liquid investment and lies towards more solid. So when you have land, maybe the next thing you are thinking, why should my land be idle? Yes, it is having capital gain, but why? What use can you put it in?
Yes.
I've seen even people leasing land
Yes.
and putting low income housing
Yes.
in several areas. That's also a way of investing for a quick return.
Yes.
But eventually, they
will.
go and buy land somewhere and move like that along the ladder. So investing is making your money work for you.
Yeah.
And then you have to seek its employment so that it works harder than you.
Yes.
And ultimately, the goal should be to bring the passive income you get from your investments equal to your salary or equal to the standard of life you want to live.
Yes.
And then you can even retire.
Yes. It bypasses you.
It
then
bypasses
retire.
you, then you can retire.
Yes.
But as long as you are only depending on working income, then it is like a
It's a never
like a
ending.
race, yeah. And it's very important for people to learn and break away from this.
Yeah.
But it takes effort. It takes, like we have said, if it's a family setup, there needs to be that shared and harmonized vision so that the vision can be attained.
Okay, great. Do you encourage people to find one thing they really like and invest there and pour larger capitals in that, or would you recommend a diverse portfolio of investment?
Diverse portfolio is better, but it's also good to understand where you put your money. Don't just do it ignorantly. Get information as much as you can, because information is out there. It's only that sometimes we are too lazy for it, or sometimes we're not conscious that we can learn things and do things.
Yeah.
So, but information is there. It's good to understand what are you investing in the industry you're investing in. And it's also good to understand that sometimes investments don't always go positive. They can also go negative. But that should not discourage you. I think failure is part of success also.
Yes.
So you may invest here and there and you find that you have not gotten returns as you hoped. That is normal. It should not discourage you.
Yes.
It should even encourage you because now you have learned a lesson. So it's something you live. In fact, investing is almost like a way of thinking. Even in simpler terms, in daily way of doing things, whenever you're buying something, think about it. When will this return my money?
Yes.
Even if it's a simple thing, you bought a gadget in the house, you want to think the benefits this thing is giving me, and when will it return my money now?
Yes.
And whether I can have resale value of it.
Yes.
Will it build capital for me? It can be just a simple thing like your gas cooker.
Yes.
Yeah. So, or your washing machine, or you're looking at just things that you do in the house. Even when you're purchasing items of daily use, think about whether they can give you two functions, what we call multifunctionality, or they can add value, they can help you produce, they can help you, how will this thing return, or the benefits I'm getting from this, what's the cost benefit advantage do I have when I pay for this thing?
Yeah.
So it's a way of thinking so that you apply daily in your life.
I think even as we go deeper into investment, one of the things that people will struggle with is the whole idea of risk analysis. How do you determine that this thing is heading in the right direction as you begin to invest?
Yeah, that's a very fundamental, very, very important thing because as Alice has pointed out, investments sometimes return negative.
Yes.
But because we are following a vision, we should not be waved out of the path for that, because that sometimes, for example, for some time now, the stocks have not been doing well. But that's just a season. One can invest and lose money in value, but that's loss in paper value.
Yes.
Because eventually when that industry turns around or the stock environment turns around, people can recoup their losses. But it is good to analyze the risk exposure and also analyze yourself. Up to what level of risk can you take in?
Yeah.
Because if one can say, you know, this, I have saved this 100,000 or I've saved this 500,000 and this is all I got, you know, maybe the level of risk, you know, they don't want to expose themselves so much to risk. And that is why I mentioned that maybe one can go to where your principal is a little bit secure. And as she has pointed out, it's also very important to seek the information, understand the industry where you are investing in.
Yes.
Because one can just run now to the stocks exchange and see all these securities are discounted and put money maybe in those penny stocks. We call them penny stocks. Uchumi is selling at 0.2 cents. KQ is selling at 0.9. Another one, 0. Like Home Africa, 0. I don't know how much. But you understand that maybe a company will take 10 years to come around.
Yes.
So that is high, it's
high
almost
risk.
like high risk.
Yeah.
Depending on how far, how soon you want to achieve your
goal.
So it's good to understand the fundamentals. Where are you investing. Because if you hear that there is a plot Maguta, you know, nice plots
You come
being
running.
sold here in Kamuru or in Magandi, then you run there and you put your 90,000 to an eighth acre in Magandi. And you are being promised that the SGR might pass
by
there.
there.
So how will when will that plot even double? It will take years, and then someone will be saying, "Oh, I have a piece of land, but it's in Magandi, and you
Yes.
bought it 10 years ago." That 90,000, if maybe you put it somewhere else, maybe it would have turned around by now. So it's good to understand
Yes.
the industry, and that information understanding reduces the risk.
Yes.
Yeah, reduces the risk.
Wow.
But if you go to an industry where you don't know, then you are more exposed. People invest in forex, right? You invest in forex, now the USD is going higher, and you go in poop.
Yes.
But what if it's affected tomorrow?
Yeah.
So, but if you understand the pikes and you know, the forex, the way it is going, then you'll be less exposed.
Yeah.
So seek
risk.
understanding.
Yeah.
Seek understanding. That's what I can advise.
I want to turn to Alice a little bit before we even go to the whole big picture, investments, looking at the kingdom and those principles that come in there. Earlier on, we looked at the home saving and then the overall saving from investments and from salaries. I think we have a challenge of how to bring those together. And I think this will be another deeper discussion that needs to be held. But maybe you both can talk to us about how that has worked for you. There is this notion that what is saved in the home is not part of the overall vision of the family. Hiyo ni ya mama. Okay? Yeah. So can we address that a little bit, Alice? How has that worked for you?
Yeah, hiyo ni ya mama is where we go wrong. Because you see, as I said, the home is where money is consumed.
Yes.
Yeah. When you earn, both of you may be employed, or you're having income from a business, or you're having income from investment, or any other income, you eat it where?
At home.
At home.
That's where it's consumed.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not wholly consumed in the home, majority or most of it will be consumed in the home. So that is where savings actually should begin.
Okay.
You look at each other. What contributions, or where can we close loopholes where money is escaping from us and going to other people? Are we paying the supermarket too much? Are we paying KPLC too much of our income, such that we can't be able to save? Are we paying school fees too much than we can afford? Things like those, because consumption happens at home. I understand also there's consumption outside, whereby we may be entertaining ourselves without our spouse knowledge, or we go out, or there's money to do this and this that each one of us spends. But I think what's very key here is that both of you are transparent with each other. Yeah. And you have agreed on how you will work your savings.
You're together.
Yes.
In terms of mindset and
Yes.
understanding that we have a shared vision
Yes.
of where we're taking this family.
And I must add also that bring in the children to
Okay.
the whole idea. So let your children understand why they cannot have pizza every Sunday.
Yes.
Why they can't go to Broban, like their friend, their neighbor.
Yeah.
Or a group of schools,
Yes.
if that's what their neighbor child is going to.
Yes.
Or why they cannot, why you don't drive a Land Rover Discovery like their neighbor.
Yeah.
Because those questions come with your children. They will say, my friend, they have this.
They have this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Their TV is this. Their toys are like this. It's those moments you sit down and explain to the to your children why we are doing this.
Yeah.
We can be able to achieve all those things we want, but we have to sacrifice
Yes.
to get there.
And everybody
Because-
in the family has to be in on it.
Yes, we do not have to get into debt to show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that we can be able to show your friends, oh, we've got this and this,
Yeah.
or we're going to this and this school. So it's got to be afforded by us.
Yes.
And the way we will do that is first sacrificing for now, so that we be able to save
Yeah.
and be able to get there.
Wow.
Yes, and the children, when they grow up with that understanding, it will be like you're passing it to their generation.
Yes.
That understanding
Yes.
of how they achieve their goals, the sacrifices they have to make, the cost they have to pay to achieve
That goal.
whatever goal they have
Yeah.
in life. And I must also say, investment, we have to approach it from a long-term view. Yeah, it's not a get-rich quickly kind of fix it
Yes.
today. It takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yes.
You have to work on it, both from the house, also to your workplace, whether you're employed or you're doing business, because you've got to do more to earn more. You have to improve your skills
Yes.
to earn more, to
Yes.
increase your income so that you can save more.
Yes.
You can do more things. So it takes a long-term view
Yes.
also, and there are no quick fixes, unfortunately.
Yeah, we get these commercials a lot these days, PA number, and I'll show you how to make 40,000 in a day from the comfort of your phone. And some of those guys that are making those adverts, unfortunately, their life do not reflect that income. But our time is up. It's been a great conversation. Maybe just for closing, where does the kingdom come in all of this?
That's a good question, and I would say it's a vision of the vision.
Yes.
Because when we are on the journey of attaining the vision, there is also the vision to partner with God and His kingdom, so that we support, by supporting needs around us, by
So needs
supporting
around
God's
us,
work,
supporting the church,
the
God's
church,
work, ministries.
God's work, ministry, we will partner with God, so that we are not doing all this and creating wealth and increasing our ability to earn just for ourselves, or
Yeah.
for me and my
Yes.
or for you and yours.
Yes.
You are only also thinking about the needy people around.
Yes.
You are thinking about supporting God's work, supporting the church,
Yes.
because church is in a mission to change the lives of people.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to see that even as you walk through the journey,
Yes.
you won't say that it is until I attain my vision that I can come and
Yes.
no, it's partnering. So partnership is long term.
Yes.
So we also have a long term perspective on the bigger picture.
Yes.
That even as we make money
Yeah.
and create wealth, we are also giving out a lot. So giving is a part and parcel, should be part and parcel of our lives.
Of our lives,
Yeah.
even as we think about investment.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, both of you, for spending time with us. Some key things, wonderful principles there to embrace. God has really gifted you both. And I can tell that it's practical, and so we're very thankful. And thank you also for staying with us and watching this session. I hope that you have been blessed. Do leave us a comment if you have a question. Do get in touch also with our church office if you need any counsel or guidance or prayer, and we would love to be able to be supportive to you in any way that we can. It's a time of crisis with COVID-19. Continue to follow the protocols that have been given by government and others so that we stay safe. Until next session, may God bless you.